Then he says, let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. Now, he is not saying women shouldn't speak. He is saying, let things be done decently and in order. And he says, and if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. You have to remember, in the early days of the church, the women sat on one side and the men sat on the other. It's still that way in many countries around the world. And what they would do is, in the middle of a teaching, somebody would be teaching something, and the wife would yell over at the husband and say, is that right? That's not what you said. I heard, when we talk about this, you said something else. And there'd just be this stuff going on. He said, no, don't do that. If they want to learn something, take it home. Talk about it at home, right? What this also tells you is that husbands and wives are supposed to be talking about the Bible at home, right? Not just coming to church and listening to the same message, but discussing it at home. Then he says, for it is a shame for women to speak in the church. He's talking about speaking out and causing confusion. Now, we also know that Philip's daughters began to prophesy. We know that the first woman to ever report Jesus' resurrection, or the first evangelist, was a woman. So it's not wrong for women to speak. And matter of fact, Galatians tells us that there is neither male nor female. And Paul even lists several women as co-apostles, actually with him, right? And that they were co-workers with him. And he gave them equal honor. So this is not a put down for women saying, oh, women shouldn't do anything in the church. Now, it does say don't let a woman usurp authority over a man in the church. And then we've had people say, well, how are you going to do that? Well, in the old days, women could only teach Sunday school, or maybe a women's class somewhere. But the fact is, it doesn't say women can't teach. It just says don't let them usurp authority. Now, if a woman comes to me and she has a gift in teaching or knowledgeable in teaching and wants to teach a class, and I say, yeah, that sounds good, teach a class. And then a man comes in and says, what's she doing teaching a class? Well, I told her she could teach a class. Well, you shouldn't let her usurp authority. I'm not going to sit under her. Okay, that's your choice. She's not usurping your authority. She's not usurping my authority. I gave her the authority, right? Now, if I was teaching something and then she was meeting over in the corner and saying, oh, what he's saying is wrong, okay, now that's usurping authority. Yeah, I will deal with that, right? But it's not, I can be a man and sit under a woman's teaching and her not be usurping my authority if usurping means taking it away without my permission. But if I decide to sit under her teaching, she's not usurping my authority. I am submitting to her teaching. Why? Because I recognize that the Spirit of God in her can teach me something. And I'm not looking to her as a teacher, but to the Spirit of God. That's what Paul was talking about. He said, man, you say, oh, I'm of Paul and I'm of Apollos and I'm of this. And he said, who is that? But these are all ministers of God in whom the Spirit of God comes through. So the key is, what are they teaching, not who's teaching it, right? There is neither male nor female. As far as JGLM is concerned, as far as what we do, I don't care. If you can do the job, you can do the job, right? And now you got to do the job, right? So, and if you're a man, you don't want to sit under a woman, don't go to her class, right? Do something else. Probably the main reason she's teaching is because you wouldn't step up and do your part. Okay? That's what Cho said. He said, if you want to start a church, send a woman because they will get things done. And that's true. And they can get men to do things for them. Right? A man will go in and say, listen, we need help. And all the guys go, yeah, look, you surely do. You need help. And they'll sit around and twirl their thumbs and, watch football and drink beer. And then go to church and talk about how spiritual they are. And then, but then the women, you tell a woman that, and a woman go in and say, yeah, we need a piano. And then they'll go to some man and say, we need a piano. And the man goes, hey, okay, I'll get you one. And they just melt, If a man's smart, he'll say, honey, go tell that guy we need a piano. Right? And